They said the black waters were cursed. The elders warned every generation never to wander near the shadowed banks after dusk. But teenagers are drawn to danger the way moths chase flames, and Chijioke was no exception. If anything, he was the flame. Chijioke was the type of boy who laughed in the face of fear. Born the son of the wealthiest man in Umuaro, he had grown up believing that power and money could shield him from anything, even the spirit world. His father, Chief Obiora, had always taught him that fear was for the weak and that the world belonged to those bold enough to seize it. With a mother who died when he was still a boy, Chijioke was left to be raised by servants who dared not discipline him. Over time, his defiance grew into a reckless hunger to prove that nothing, no man, no spirit, could control him. Mocking the old stories was his way of showing the world that he was untouchable. He didn't believe in the ancient stories of Mammy Water, the wicked goddess who lured men to their deaths with beauty no mortal woman could rival. To him, those tales were just that, tales. Myths created by fearful villagers to keep people in line. One humid night, under a sky heavy with thunderclouds, Chijioke and his friends gathered at the black waters. The river swirled with an ink-like darkness, as if it drank light and refused to give it back. 11 boys stood with him, nervous but unwilling to show it. You see, Chijioke spread his arms wide, voice dripping with mockery. Nothing happens. All these stories, lies. He picked up a stone and flung it into the river. The splash echoed through the night. Mammy Water, he called out, laughing. If you are real, come out. I dare you. The wind shifted. A chill crept along the river bank, curling around their ankles. The other boys laughed nervously, but unease lingered in their eyes. Somewhere in the darkness, something stirred. They should have left. By dawn, the sickness began. It started as an unbearable heat beneath the skin, as though their blood had caught fire. Their voices failed first, hoarse whispers fading into eerie silence. Soon, their limbs stiffened, muscles locking in place until they lay like statues. Fever dreams haunted them, visions of pale hands pulling them beneath black waves, laughter echoing through the depths. No healer's touch could ease their pain, and no prayer could lift the curse. One by one, the boys fell silent, their voices stolen. Mute and paralyzed by a mysterious illness no healer could cure. All except Chijioke, who remained healthy, vibrant, and unrepentant. As his friends wasted away, he refused to confess, visiting each boy as their wide, frightened eyes begged him to speak the truth and lift the curse. But Chijioke stayed silent, and the boys began to die. The village of Umuaro buzzed with fear. In a place where the spirit world intertwined with the living, no one could deny that something dark had stirred. Ifema, the village elder, pressed her lips into a thin line as she examined the latest victim, a frail boy named Emeka. He lay motionless, eyes open but vacant, his breath shallow. It was the same with all of them. It is the river, she murmured. Something has angered her. The other women whispered behind her, hands clutching charms and beads. It was no ordinary illness. It was the work of something ancient and angry. By the seventh death, panic seized the village. It was then that Chief Obiora, Chijioke's father, took action. But his concern was not for the dying boys. It was for his wealth and power. If anyone discovered his son had desecrated the black waters, they would demand banishment. No, he would protect his son, at any cost. He summoned Dibia Okonkwo, the most feared juju priest in the region. A man said to walk the line between the living and the dead. I need you to protect my son, Chief Obiora demanded, thrusting a bag heavy with gold into the priest's hands. Make it so the spirit cannot touch him. Okonkwo's eyes gleamed like coals. You seek to defy a goddess. Name your price, Obiora growled. The priest smiled. There is always a price. Night fell heavy and thick, as if the sky itself mourned. In the heart of the black waters, something ancient awakened. Mammy Water stirred, her eyes like polished obsidian, gleaming with the memory of old betrayals. Long before Chijioke's arrogance, mortals had mocked her power. Priests who broke their vows, lovers who abandoned her daughters. But this boy's defiance was different. He had dared to summon her, to laugh in her face, and that insult burned deeper than any wound. For centuries, she had waited for one bold enough to tempt her wrath. Now, she would make an example of him, one the village would never forget. Her lips curved into a cruel smile. The arrogance of humans never ceased to amuse her, but Chijioke's defiance? That was a sweet, irresistible insult. She would punish them all. She rose from the water, her form shifting between beauty and terror. Her voice, a haunting melody, wove its way into the dreams of men. And so, the deaths began. Men known for their wandering eyes and restless desires found themselves drawn to the river. She would greet them in the moonlight, her beauty so devastating that they followed without question. And when she took them beneath the waves, their faces were frozen in ecstasy and death. By the time the 11th husband died, the village trembled beneath her shadow. Only 3 boys remained alive, barely. Fear clung to them like a second skin. Emeka, the quietest among them, spent his nights trembling beneath his mother's prayers, haunted by the sight of their friends' vacant stares. Obi no longer spoke of the future. His laughter, once loud and carefree, had faded to hollow silence. Even Nana, the strongest of them, flinched at shadows and avoided the riverbank entirely. Each day, they waited in dread, knowing the curse could claim them next, and the one person who could save them remained silent. Chijioke watched from the safety of his father's compound, unease gnawing at the edges of his arrogance. He had never feared anything before. But now, the silence of his friends haunted him. Mammy Water was growing closer. One night, he heard his father's laughter echo through the compound. Chijioke froze. That laughter twisted into something else, a sound no human throat should make. He ran toward his father's chambers, heart pounding. What he found chilled his blood. His father lay sprawled on the floor, his face locked in a smile, his eyes wide and lifeless. The air smelled of river water and jasmine. And there, just beyond the window, he caught a glimpse of flowing white robes. Mammy Water had come for him. The spell that shielded Chijioke would not hold forever. He felt it unraveling, thread by thread. She was patient. She had all the time in the world. When she came for him, it was not with anger, but with cold, merciless pleasure. You mocked me, her voice coiled around his thoughts. And now you are mine. He tried to run. But how do you escape something that exists beyond flesh and bone? When they found Chijioke's room, it was empty. Only the faint scent of jasmine remained, and the distant sound of laughter echoing from the black waters. They say he serves her still, in the depths of her dark kingdom, a slave to the goddess he once mocked. And the black waters? They remain, waiting for the next fool who dares to insult the queen of the deep. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything to us. Thank you for watching.